This is always a special time when we honor people who selflessly give of themselves to the program. And the two gentlemen that are going to be honored tonight are certainly deserving, as all the inductees have been, for what they put into a program and what comes out of that program.
Our league was started 40 years ago, and I think they muddled through the first 18, and then Dave came on, and then we've been going ever since. So it's an honor to stand up here and talk about Mr. Hargrove. He is not only just a valuable member of our league, he's a mentor to me. We've had a couple talks over the years. I'm going to start out by telling the story to me, which I use just about every week in my life. This time last year, we're going through, we have equipment, which anybody who's done equipment in a league realizes that you lose your garage for an extended period of time. And so we have equipment in my garage, and it's stacked up to here, and Dave came over and said, well, we need to go over and get some softball stuff going. And I'm stressing, we got 60 uniforms here, and helmets here, and everything else. Dave pulls up into my driveway, gets out of the car, and I start just getting ready to start packing stuff with him. And he pulls a little cooler out, and he walks around to the front of his truck. He says, you know what, Mike? Let's have a cold one, relax a little bit. Everything's going to be okay. And I'm not kidding, I use that very often in my life, all the time, when it comes to my family problems, when it comes to work problems. He has served Southeast Denver baseball and softball as a coach, assistant coach, league director, umpire, tournament committee member, director, master scheduler, which he still does to this day, which is amazing, board member, and league president. He also volunteers for field maintenance, field layout, concession stand operations, and fundraising. You might say Dave does it all. Well, he does. And we are very appreciative of everything Dave has ever done. On the softball side, Dave was instrumental in helping to start a local softball program in Southeast Denver with 2 teams in 1994. He is proud of the growth to the current number of teams to over 80 in 5 different age groups. With the growth of softball within Babe Ruth, Dave has taken on many duties to help fuel its success. He served 5 years as a Colorado State Commissioner and is in his 12th year as a Midwest Plains Babe Ruth Regional Commissioner. It's been amazing what softball has done, I think, in the Denver metro area. And it's, I believe, as no other source but Dave Hargrove. It's an honor for me to introduce Dave Hargrove as a Hall of Fame member of Colorado State.
So I am honored and I'm humbled about the fact that you all would recognize me. I have a story probably with every one of you, and I think that's what's unique to me. Rather than spend the time talking about them, I just want to recognize a few ones. Skip's covered a couple. Just talking about Jerry, it's good to see Jerry Ryer here. We were in Lincoln a while back going to one of the regional meetings, and I wasn't driving, he was, but he'd asked me for directions, and we got lost and went to Misty's. And if you ever know where that is, it's a great place to eat. This is one of the little stories. Mike talked about me starting off as a Colorado State Commissioner, and then I think one of my attributes is I'm able to kind of pull people in to help do things. My kids call it giving orders. But I was able to get Janice, DeLong, and Dennis to help out, and they're been going. How many years have been doing the state commissioner now? 10 years for the Colorado State Commissioner. So that's just awesome. I think at least another 10 years. People that I've worked with, like I say, in all the different leagues and capacities, is just Sonny. I was telling him, I don't know if you're going to remember my son Taylor, but when Taylor was 15, he's now 27. We hosted the state 13-15 tournament, and we had some great players and teams back there. If you remember, Ron, some of the Millers and those guys, and it was an awesome tournament. And Sonny was obviously the tournament director back then, and in terms of the Babe Ruth official, and he says, "Yeah, I'll probably remember him." And I remember that because it was a special time in our lives when our kids were growing up. We all started, I think, with our kids or our grandkids. And I think one thing that's special about this group is we continue to give once our kids are out of it. And that's just amazing. Like I said, my wife, I don't know what to say. She's back to the ones that I can't give her orders, so I requested her to coach the first girls' teams. She did. but only 1 year because she couldn't handle the girls anymore. And they were just like 9 and 11. But she had told me before that, I say, because Taylor's the oldest, says, okay, you're doing stuff with your son, that's great. What are you going to do for your daughters? And I think Norm can attest, every time that I usually talk to promote about the softball program, I always end it with, don't you want your daughters to have the same opportunity as your sons do? And so really I got that from Bonnie, and she's always been there to just kind of guide me. Other than, like I say, my family, I'm very blessed to have. I want to give special thanks to Norm Travis. As most of you know, grew up on the baseball side. That's where I started, but I've consistently and constantly pushed softball. And Mike is right. I'm very proud of the fact that softball has grown in the state of Colorado and actually in our region. But without Norm's help, I don't think it would be possible. When I first started with Southeast Denver, I used to say, those guys are so old, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. Now I'm that old guy. So thank you very much.
I just want to let everybody know that I'm proud of my dad, and Dad, I'm proud of you. He started when I was 7, and he knew, with the help of my mom, when to back off. And that helps the rest of his gifts of organization, administration to flourish. So that helped me to get to play at a very high level of sports, and now I'm very proud of him that he's still pouring out. And it wasn't just about me, because God had a plan for my dad, and he's blessed a lot of people because he got involved. And also I want to thank all of you guys for using your gifts, because sports is a very, very important part of developing people. And a lot of CEOs and companies and things like that, they remember their coaches more than anything else. They remember those things. So what you guys do invests in people's lives for a lifetime. So thank you.
I put together a scrapbook for my dad, and I had lots of help from Robin and Marissa, my mom, and Tommy and Taylor. I want to read a passage, actually. Someone special requested that I read something from this. Basically, this is a book of memories of all the things that you've been doing throughout the last 22 years. So it's been a blessing to be able to hear all these wonderful stories. I remember one story in particular about how someone told him what a knucklehead he was for spending time with us instead of going with this other guy to a paid engagement. But this fellow came around to spend time with my coach, and that he wanted to help his friend's team, and he thought it was important to show kids how to play the game. We were all so glad he was there. That man's name was Ted Williams. In 1996, I was offered an engineering position abroad. It was a lucrative offer at the time that I considered very seriously. After I declined the offer, which was about the time that I became associated with Southeast Denver baseball, the person who made me the offer called me a knucklehead for turning him down. And I had mentioned that I started my kids in youth baseball and was settled in the Denver area and really wanted to stay here and work with Dave Hargrove to help the kids get a chance to play the game. And he said that anybody who passed on a deal like this was a huge knucklehead. It was at that precise moment in time that I recalled what Ted Williams had said to us many years ago. So I guess that makes me a knucklehead, and since I brought Dave's name into it, he was also a knucklehead. Now you can probably figure out where this is going. I'm sure that Dave has been offered many positions with firms who would pay the big bucks if he'd leave his family and go to a place like China. Dave, like me, has made hard decisions. One of those decisions was to stay where he was, raise his children in a home where he could be a father and an influence towards his children's future. Well, as I think about who may be in this room listening to this story, I can say with a degree of certainty that there are probably a bunch of knuckleheads in this room. The part of the story that you haven't heard is that Ted Williams told us kids back in 1960 that it was his greatest joy in life to be able to teach kids how to play baseball, because to watch them grow up and have success was the most fulfilling thing he had done in his life. I believe him. I want to thank Dave for making me a knucklehead. I cannot think of a person who is more deserving of induction into the Babe Ruth Hall of Fame than Dave Hargrove. He has shown me that patience and determination certainly pays off. Thanks for everything, Dave. Gil Henry, knucklehead.
But congratulations to both of you. I think it's a great honor. You're both very deserving. And I'm proud to be a part of